What is up, Thrive fam? CJ Finley here again with another episode of the Thrive on Life podcast. And I wanted to run it back with my buddy Matt Johnson here today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to start off the podcast with a ketone IQ. And apparently Matt is the ketone bro now on social media. So yeah, we're going to start with this. And then you also brought Just Work. And you brought me the icy flavor.
It's one of the best ones.
I don't even want to know what's in these, but I pitched Matt this idea. I was like, you should come over and we should take a ketone IQ shot, and then we should 5 minutes later just start chugging a Just Work energy, and then just see how the episode goes. And then
I had the creatine gummies out there too. We should have took 15 grams of creatine.
Go get them right now.
I mean, yeah. Let's get it right now.
Okay, we're gonna pause right now, and I'm just gonna talk to you solo as Matt goes out to get the creatine gummies. But yeah, we're going to start off with the ketone IQ and then Just Work. And apparently we're going to do some creatine gummies. But Matt came over. We're going to chat about how to help other people achieve their goals, their dreams through coaching. So Matt is a coach. He's been coached. Same thing for me. He's an athlete. And one of the things we want to do here on this podcast, as always, is to help other people grow. And I wanted to kind of dive into how does he get the most from the athletes that he helps and anybody else that he's coaching in his life, because it can be friends, family, it could be advising and consulting for people around you. You're working with a lot of brands now, and there's a lot that goes into it psychologically, and the best leaders on earth are also putting themselves into arena. So we'll talk a little bit about what Matt has planned in 2024, what he's going to be diving into. But before we get into every little nugget that we're going to talk about here today, let's start with this ketone IQ. And I guess right now you said we're going for this like little noise that
we're gonna be juiced up here. So I think that that was it.
I think I got it.
That was it. All right, there you go. I didn't do mine right. I forgot that I always I just one mouth it like right off the bat.
One mouth it?
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what that means. But first, you said you actually had a question to start off with.
So I had a friend, and I guarantee that you've received this question, but I had never received this question, and she asked me the other night. And I'm like, holy crap, because the way that she turned it really made me think. So you have to have dinner with 4 people. Past, present, dead, alive, doesn't matter. What 4? Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard to be put on the spot to do. 4 is a lot.
Just wait.
Let me start with that.
Just wait. Let's do, all right, you can cut it down to 3. Just give me 3. But just wait till the next question. And
Richard Branson.
Then it's really going to make you think.
Richard Branson.
Okay.
Created Virgin, everything. Naval Ravikant. Those are 2.
Anyone.
King Leonidas.
Okay.
From 300.
I like that.
I don't know. So
okay. All right. No, keep it. You ready?
Yeah.
Now, what do all 3 of those people have in common?
I want to add my 4th. Martin Luther King.
Now, what do all 4 of those people have in common? There's a trait in there.
I mean, the easiest one is like standing for what they believe in personally.
Love that. Pause. So you, as a man, a very, very big thing in your life is standing for what you believe in. If that is the first thing that comes to mind that those men have in common.
That's what this girl told you?
Yeah.
So who were yours?
Okay, so I said Achilles, Alexander the Great. This is off the wall. I don't even know why I picked these 4. It's like 2 a.m. as well, so bear with me. Alexander the Great.
Were you listening to like Noah's threads or reading his?
Alexander the Great, Achilles, George Washington, and Abraham Lincoln. And I said that, and I was like, what a list. And then I got hit with the next question, which was, okay, what do they all have in common? And I'm like, wow, like what a diverse
group. Let's flip this on its head. What woman would you want? What women woman or women would you want at the dinner? Because it's so funny because if you asked a woman that, she would have probably responded with women. If you asked men, they would respond with men.
She did, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's weird how we naturally gravitate towards that. But it'd be a much better dinner if we had like variety. So
I'll go with women next, but hear me out. You ready? I'm like, okay, so Alexander the Great and Achilles, both elite warriors, right? George Washington rode into battle, first president of the United States, rode into battle on horse. Abraham Lincoln, I'm like, okay, Lincoln freed the slaves, and like that's phenomenal, right? So I'm like, damn, what's the connector here? It is that all of those men are protectors. That was the first thing I said.
Yeah, they believe in something enough to protect it.
100%.
Yeah.
So like, as a warrior, like, Achilles and Alexander the Great, like, they're warriors, like they're protecting their people. George Washington rode into battle on a horse, first president of the United States, believed in something enough to protect it. Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves and completely changing the trajectory of the United States. Protector. She's like, so you're a protector. And I was like, whoa.
If you were in World War II,
wow,
battling in World War II, like what would your position be?
Oh man,
I've gone back and forth on this because it's like some days like I want to be on the front lines, and then other days I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool to be behind the scenes doing strategy, and then other days it would be cool flying an airplane. Like
I know what I would want to do. I would want to be, and I don't know what their jobs are. Obviously, I was never in the Navy, but the guys on the ships that used to man the anti-aircraft guns, where you're shooting these, I don't even know what it is, astronomical rounds at these planes. And like think about the guy during Pearl Harbor, the chef that took the reins and was like, like, oh my God, that would be so sick. Imagine shooting down a freaking plane with a gun, bro. That is nuts. That's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
I would either want to do that or obviously like when I joined the military, 2014, like I joined as a combat medic. So like, being a medic, like serving people, helping people, like people that are out there fighting, saving their lives if they get into some bad shit.
Do medics have any weapons on them?
Yeah. Now, yeah. So now, you have the traditional weapon. You also have medics will have they pistol train. So traditionally in the military, you go out and you do weapons qualification. And at one point, like I was a truck driver, we were a tactical unit, so we would do training with like heavy weaponry, like on top of vehicles. So like 50 cals, 240s, 249s, like big automatic weapons. And then we would traditionally, we'd qualify with our M16 or M4s. But as a medic, you qualify with your M4 and you do a pistol qualification. And then like there's other, I can't really say, and I don't want to give you the wrong information, but there's other military MOSs jobs that you qualify with like a shotgun. And like there's different weapons quals. So yes, medics do have weapons.
Have you ever jumped out of a plane?
No.
Why did it take you so long to answer that? Because I just thought about it would be pretty badass to be a paratrooper too. One of the guys jumping out of planes to
but I'm telling you what,
go
bro,
rescue somebody or like
if you are jumping out of a plane and you are jumping into a combat zone, you are in for a hell of a time.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't.
But I think at World War II, you're in for a hell of a time no matter what. Unless you're like behind the lines.
That's true. I don't know. For me, it's like descending out of the air. Like you're an open target. You're just like, granted, that's why we do most of our jumps at night, but
yeah,
I don't know.
That's pretty freaky. I don't know how we got on this topic, but I'm pretty happy we did because it kind of falls in line with like how do you lead other people in the best way. And when you're talking about being a protector, it's one thing to protect yourself. It's another thing to protect the masses of people. So when you're thinking about that protector role, what does that look like in today's world for you? Because you came out of the military and now we're both civilians sitting here on some loungy chairs in a loungy town in
wearing our
Texas.
branded apparel.
So it's just like
drinking our supplements, living this privileged life.
What does protection look like?
The first thing that I think of when I think of protection is,
all right, we're 10 minutes in. We gotta. I don't want to cut you off, but We got to make that sound of the
Ooh.
crispy.
Hard crack.
Cheers.
We used to do that a lot, didn't we?
I don't know about that, but
CJ and I used to drink a lot. Not together, but separately. Being a protector. First thing I think about is like you're out with your significant other, right? And where are you going to walk when you're walking down the sidewalk? You're going to walk on the road, on the side of the road, right? Being a protector. These things, right? When I sit at a restaurant with somebody, I always want to be the one that's facing the door. Because I want to see, if something's going to happen, I want to know where the exit is, or I want to know who's coming in. That's the protector instinct, in my opinion. And then relating that to then the next thing I think about is friendships and protecting my friends. Like you don't disrespect my friends and think that it's okay. Like I'm not going to sit back and watch you do that, whether it's physically, emotionally, anything like that. Protection. Those are the first things that I think about when I think about protection, is like the physical aspect or the emotional aspect. It's not like there's no deep meaning of protection to me. It's just protecting your people.
it's innate. It's in you.
And yeah, I mean, and
Like
I think
something for me that like Aaron and I just did High Rocks in Dallas, and like protection can look in many different ways. And I think we don't give ourselves enough credit for having that like instinctually in us, especially as men. Like that is your role.
mm-hmm.
That is part of your
You are
role.
a protector.
And
yeah.
I think we put too much weight on money and chasing these things that are outside of us, but inside of us, like we are wired to do that, to protect. And for me, it was like we flew my mom in to watch Aiden because right now I don't trust anybody else outside of our family and our nanny, who we love, with him. And so we did that. And then the next thing is like, I'm looking at Airbnbs and like, it usually takes me like 20 minutes to find a decent Airbnb that I like, but it took me like a good 2 hours because it had to be right for her and Aiden, for me to feel like I could be in flow state during the race rather than worrying about wherever they're located.
That's fair.
And that's like such like, nobody really thinks about that. Like I did that without really thinking about it. But when I think back, I did it for that reason. And one of the reasons, again, even like we have a truck for one of my businesses, but it was also, we thought through like when we have kids, like I want to buy bigger vehicles because that's just a natural, like if we're all going to get in the car at the same time,
you don't want to be in a Prius.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so it's just like, you're just reducing your risk, and it looks so many different ways in today's world. So I'm glad you brought up that sidewalk thing, because that's something. And then also like when you sit in, not only facing the door, but being on the outside so that you're the mobile one.
Yes.
So that like if something goes down, like I can immediately get up and
so
be the mobile one.
Where do you think that you learned that? Because to
That's
me
why
it's like,
I think it's part innate.
Yeah, because to me it was always like, you're put in these situations in the military, and where you need to make a quick decision. So I always thought that like, oh, okay, like why I think this way and why I do these things is because of that. But then you have people that weren't in the service or something like that, and you're telling me the same exact shit, and I'm like, man, like how. It's got to be. It has to be, but it's not, because there are men out there that don't think like that. I mean, I think go into a restaurant and look at, and then I mean, here's the greatest example: is go into a restaurant and look at the men that are sitting with their back to the door. I will literally make myself sit at a different table if I cannot see a door.
What if there's two doors?
Great question. Then you have a 50-50 shot on if something's going to go wrong. But I will be looking at one door.
The largest
mean?
door.
Like,
Face the largest door.
Yeah, largest door, or the door that has the easiest access. Do you have a problem in crowds? What if you and Aaron were going to go to a concert? Does that bother you?
Yeah, I always go at the back. I always go to the back so I can see
Bothers
everybody.
the shit out of me. I hate like crowds.
Were you at the HBLT thing when the speakers were there?
No.
You weren't?
No, I was doing the Chad next door.
Okay. Yeah, so I sat in the back there. And it's like every time I go somewhere, it's almost like disrespect to whoever's speaking, but the reality is like I don't like not being able to see behind me.
I think about concerts, groups, raves. I don't
So
know.
here
Never
I
been to
have
a
a
rave,
funny story about this specific topic. The girl I dated in high school and early on in college, she loved Mac Miller, and he was playing near Rutgers for around, I think, her birthday or around sometime. And I got her tickets to go see Mac Miller. But
This
then
guy.
I had another friend. He took her to it because I was like, she wants to go to the front row. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So she was like semi mad because she had obviously her boyfriend bail on going to this concert with her. But in the back of my mind, it was like, I don't want to be at the front row. And this is before I even thought like it was innately in me. Like I wasn't thinking the way that I am now. I just
I'm
did
different
that.
though. Like I went to the Jelly Roll concert. I went to the Jelly Roll concert here in Austin. You know Jelly Roll, right? And I coach his nutritionist is an ultra runner, and I coach them. So I had 2 VIP tickets to like the front section. Like everyone's behind me. I wasn't bothered at all that people were behind me, but I'm just if I don't want to call it anxiety. It's not anxiety, but like it just tires me out because I'm always just watching.
Yeah, I have to be
looking
trashed.
around. I don't need to be in the back, but
I've been at the front of concerts and I have to be trashed.
Yeah.
To like reduce that anxiety or that depression.
Yeah.
Not depression. Overwhelm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
What else goes into we're kind of like on the topic of protecting and serving. What does that look like in terms of like coaching other people?
I mean, a life like the biggest thing for me is, being in the military. I think that's going to come up a lot. Was, I was 18 years old and I was like, dude, I want to join the military. Like I want to, but at the time, like I didn't know, like, people are like, thank you for your service. Like I didn't realize I was serving others. But that's a life of service, and spending so many years in my young years growing up doing that I knew as I was making my exit that, through the, 2020, 2021, 2022, doing charity events and charity work, like service to others, and then getting into athletics and becoming a coach, like I realize.
All right, we're back. So the mics were cutting out a little bit, so I just wanted to make sure that we didn't lose any audio from this episode. But in the meantime, we're now chewing on creatine monohydrate gummies, blue raspberry.
Creatine is great for endurance athletes. You're only supposed to really take like 5 grams of creatine a day. I probably take like 30 to 50 because I literally chew on these like they're vitamin C gummies.
That's where they get you with these things. This is better than the orange.
So good.
But we were talking about serving other people and what that means to you. And honestly, we were talking about how both of us have attention problems. So I don't really know where we ended off because I wasn't expecting to stop this at all. But if you can remember your train of thought.
Service to others. I never really understood that like coaching was a service. Like I was just something that I'm like, man, like I just enjoy doing this. Like I enjoy helping others. And actually was just talking with a friend the other day where I'm like, I would love if I can get, get my life to a point to where I'm making enough making enough through brand deals where I don't have to worry about coaching being an income, because I have a problem where a friend will reach out, be like, hey, like I would love it if you would coach me to, XYZ. And I'm like, yeah, done. Like too easy. Because if you're a good coach, it's not difficult, right? And I feel like, yeah, if you have 30, 40 athletes and you're charging, $300-$400 a month, like you can make bank coaching. I make really good money coaching. But it's not about the money for me. It's about helping others. And I would love to get to a point where I can just coach, 10 to 15 friends and just do it for free. This morning I had a phone call with a friend who I'm coaching him to the Rocky Raccoon 100 in 51 days. You know how long it took me to set his schedule? An 18-minute phone call.
I think you can do both because I've thought about this at depth. How much is running that race worth to this individual?
It's worth a lot because he didn't, same thing as Leadville, like we talked about last podcast. He didn't finish last year.
Yeah. So like something you can ask people is like, ultimately, like, what is this worth, like monetarily to you? Because I'm going to help you demolish this race. And it's almost like the Robin Hood. It's like, take from the rich, give to the poor. So you set yourself up where there's people out there that can afford the service and you're going to get them to their goal. And then they're going to afford you to kind of like take on some other people that.
Yeah. I mean, my highest paying client paid me $6,000 up front for 6 months of coaching. Like,
which isn't innately that much. It's $1,000 a month.
And literally like now this is macronutrients and, weight training and all of that. But there are people out there that they don't even care. And he's like, how much is it? And I'm like, it's, X amount. And he's like, how about I just give you $6,000 for 6 months up front? Okay. Like, deal, and I've even had another athlete that signed on with me, paid 6 months up front, different amount of money and a lot of money, and messaged me, and he's like, businessman. He goes, hey, I changed my mind. I don't want to do the ultra anymore. I want to do cycling only. I have another coach in mind, which is, thank God. Like, cycling is just, no thanks. He's like, I want to do cycling only. I want to do these like crit races. He's like, I'm just gonna go with this other coach. He's like, just keep the change.
Wow.
I'm like, all right, man. Good luck. He's like, yeah, man. Like, I appreciate everything you did. Like, we'll keep in touch. And he texts me. Like,
see, then that guy just bought you helping somebody else. That's how do you pay it forward to like somebody that necessarily couldn't afford it?
Exactly. And you know what that, and like those are like, see, and that's what I hate is the thing I hate the most about coaching and like being in this lifestyle is like people will reach out to me and you can get someone's vibe right off the bat, right? There's people out there that are just, they don't want to spend the money. But then there's people out there that don't have the money to spend.
Yeah, there's a difference.
And, when like I had this kid reach out to me and he's 17 years old. And I didn't know he was 17 until I got on the phone with him. He's a junior in high school. Bro, he's a junior in high school, and he messaged me on Instagram, spoke with me, set up a phone call about coaching.
Wild.
About coaching. I get on the phone with him. He's like, I want to run a 50. I'm like, dude, let's do it. I'm like, so what do you do for work? He's like, I'm in school. I'm like, oh, like that's sick. Where do you go to college? He's like, I'm a junior in high school. And I'm like, you want to run a 50? Like, when I was a junior in high school, I didn't even know what t-shirt I wanted to wear, let alone if I wanted to run a 50. And I'm like, how do I, like, number one?
I would have been like 50 feet.
Yeah.
Do you want me to run 50
like
feet?
He goes, I know I'm young, but like, do you think I can do it? I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, your metabolism is through the roof. Like, you could eat Big Macs and train for this. And, no, obviously I didn't say that, but,
yeah.
I mean, how do you...
Now you're the Big Mac, bro.
How do you charge? How do you charge him that? Like, how do I charge, like, this kid that comes to me, 17 years old, and I'm like, what, how do I charge him? Like, I don't know.
Scholarship, bro.
Exactly. So, old boy paid me $4,000 up front for however many months of training. And, it's like, dude, yeah, bro, I got you. Let's run this 50.
Yeah, that I would say is one of the toughest parts of coaching is like how to balance that. Something that I learned when I got into full-time entrepreneurship was how to make your almost like your nonprofit work fit more of your lane. And basically, the successful entrepreneur booked out. I reached out to him. I was like, I would love to take a call with you. I have this very specific question. And he was like, yeah, like talk to my admin. I set aside hours every single week to talk to early stage entrepreneurs. And he was talking about like, he doesn't have necessarily the time to go do some other like quote unquote give back methods. But he's said this is right in line with like his mission. And it's his like right off in his head that he either went and gave food to the homeless or did a certain give back, but he was doing it for early stage entrepreneurs where normally he'd be charging thousands of dollars for the same type of time. And it really, it kind of flipped my framework because in my mind, I was so hard on myself. It's like, I want to serve, but I need to make money. And it's like, the more money you make, if you just focus on that, the more you can serve, and that age old thing. But it's, you can kind of integrate it in as long as you're able to like say no. How do you decide who to work with? Because that, I think, for coaches out there is another struggle of building this system of how do I understand this person that's reaching out that wants help? I'm the type of person, usually if you're a coach, you want to help. And you end up saying yes to too many people that you shouldn't. Like, how do you dive into right away whether this person is worth the salt or not?
Yeah, like the other day, I put out an Instagram story and was like, hey, you know, I'm taking on athletes for the month of December, blah, 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 blah. Great time to start for the new year, this and that. I had 78 people. I had 78 leads come from that story. You go through and I hit everyone up and I'm like, hey, you know, I saw that you replied to the story because, you know, I put a poll, vote on the poll. I had 78 people vote like, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, so here we go. Bang, 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 bang. 78 people. 78 people give you 40 replies. You get to these 40 replies. And I feel like I'll know on your first reply, like what you, like, cause I'm like, what are your goals? You know, I send a message and I'm like, you know, I see that you voted. Like, what are your goals? What do you want to do? Oh, I just want to get better at running. It's not, you're out. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, I want, like I have people that message me back and they'll be like, my goal is to do the Leadville 100. After the Leadville 100, I want to run a marathon. I probably said that way backwards. You know, I want to run a marathon. I want to do the Leadville 100.
Not
like,
in our world.
Yeah, exactly. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I want to do that. And I'm like, done. Like, absolutely. I'm like, want to hop on a call? Yep. Sounds good. Those are the people that sell. Bang,
Yeah,
bang,
they made
bang.
your life easy.
1, 2, 3. Like, they know what they want. But then you have the guys that are like, yeah, I just want to get better at running. And now, like, I really, I don't have time. I leave it like that. Sounds good. Like, that's it. Because those people that are like, I want to get better at running, then you get them on the phone, right? They don't have a goal. Like, the goal is to get better at running. Okay. So get them on the phone and they're like, yeah, you know, I lift weights and, you know, just want to get better at running. How does it work? And I tell them, and they're like, yeah, it's cool. Like, how much is it? I'm like, X amount a month. And they're like, man, it's just, I'll think about it. You know, little much for me right now. Because
So why are we here?
Because you don't have a goal.
Yeah.
You don't have a goal. So, and like what you just said with the price tag, right? What's it worth? When they don't have a goal, it's worth 0.
Yeah.
If you don't have a goal, it's worth 0. You know what? Like, I literally paid last year to run the Leadville 100 through charity. I couldn't raise enough money. I paid almost $1,500 out of my pocket. And I would have paid that $1,500 times 10 to run the Leadville 100 again. I didn't have 10K in the bank, but if I had $10,000 in the bank to just piss away, I would have spent that to run the Leadville 100. Or I would have done anything I could to find it.
I probably just dropped like 3 G's to run a no-name 50K pretty much.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
like getting family out there, flights, food,
because
preparation.
it's worth those things to you. So you know, every time I put out a story, I get 70 to 100 replies. I hit up every single one, and you get a message back from half. Half of them qualify, half of them get on the phone, half of them convert. For me. But I'm not a full-time coach. I just do it because I love it.
I mean, that's standard though. That's standard sales, the way you broke that down.
I think about Brady Oki, who owns Tua, who I'm the hybrid athlete coach through. Brady will hop on a call with 10 people and he will sell 9.5 out of 10. I don't know how he sells a half, but he would. Like I'm telling you, that man can sell. And for me, I'm not a salesman. And it's probably wrong on my part, but I've talked to many people on the phone and I'm like, look, man, like I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to help you to the Dallas Half Marathon. If you want to run the Dallas Half Marathon and you want a PR, you want to go sub 140, I will make that happen. If you don't want to do it, then that's fine.
Yeah. The thing about it is though, he has that full system in place where for you, the next wave of your business is that person that doesn't have a goal, you're building in a way for them to find their goal.
Yes.
So like you're selling them or serving them is the better word, a product or a service that isn't necessarily focused on hitting a specific goal. It's helping them find out who they are to understand what their running goal is. And that could be like
plenty of athletes and you
could shuffle them off to somebody else that is their strength, but they're operating under Matt Johnson.
Oh, 100%. And I have plenty of athletes that have signed on with me just because we've had the conversation where they don't have a race on the schedule. And I keep pushing them. I'm like, there's a difference between training and working out, right? If you have nothing on the schedule, you're just working out. If you have something on the schedule, you are training. And there is a difference in training and working out. There's a difference in intensity. There's a difference in mentality. There is a killer mindset that comes with training. I want all of my athletes to constantly be training. I don't care if your race is 6 months away. You're still training. You have your eye on the goal. You see it. You believe it. You're ready for it. You're training. Fuck working out. We don't work out. We train. That's my mentality. That's why people come to me.
Let's backtrack. When you were in the military, what did your working out or training look like then? Like what got you to that mentality to think like that?
It's hard to say because really like when you're leading up to, so I was in the Iowa National Guard. So I was in the National Guard. I had an active duty job. So I worked in the uniform every single day. But I also drilled on the weekends, which is like 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the year. That's how the National Guard works. So I would work Monday through Friday, and then 1 week in a month I would work Monday through Sunday and back to work on Monday. But 2 different jobs. So like I worked for Midwest Counter Drug Monday through Friday, doing counter drug operations and training and stuff like that. And then my 1 week in a month, I would go be, a gunner up on top of a truck, or I'd go drive a truck. I go to my unit. Within the Guard, you have 5-year phases. Year 1 is sitting phase. Means you're not deploying. Year 2, you have crawl. Year 3, you have jog. Year 4, you have run. Year 5, it's go time. That means you're on a 5-year rotation. Your unit's probably going to deploy every 5 years. So like granted, that's years down the road, but like whether it's year 1 in your sitting phase,
you're going.
That like, hey, shit is about to like shit's about to pop off at some point. Now, when and your deployment date 1 year before you deploy. Like or 2 years before you deploy. Honestly, there's been some units where 2 years, it's like, hey, 20 like oh fuck, when was that? I don't remember when it was. 20 I don't know, who cares? Anyway, it's like, hey, we're go time in 18 months. So you drill 1 week in a month with your unit, it's now 17 months. It's 16 months. It's 15 months. It's 10 months. It's 3 months. We're leaving tomorrow. So I think like the mentality of that is like with the military planning, you're always looking ahead. You're always trying to see what's next. And for me as a coach is like, imagine if you went to work in the military and you had no idea when you were going to deploy. You had no idea if you were going to deploy.
Yeah, you would slack off.
You would slack off for sure. And then you walk in on a Wednesday and they're like, "Hey, we're heading out. Load up." And you're like, "Oh shit." Right? You're like, "I am not
Big Mac boys, dog."
They're like, "Did I even get my ketone IQ, man? Like let's go." So that's where I think that mentality came from, is that, you know, we always had, actually my commander, when, I don't know if you remember or not, you remember shit was popping off in Korea?
Yeah.
In like 2018, 2016, I don't know.
No, I think
I was
it was
young.
like right before COVID.
I was young. 2019?
Yeah.
Okay, so our entire unit was being just pieces of shit. And this is in February. He called us in, brand new commander, called us in, emergency meeting. Everyone's talking. Fuck is going on? What's going on? And like, we had been slacking off for months. Brings up a full professional PowerPoint that we are deploying to South Korea on March 23rd. It's February. They're like, March 23rd, you're going to have to call your family. You're going to tell your family. You need to start doing XYZ. You need to tell your job, blah, 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 blah. People are shitting themselves. Like, holy shit, we're deploying in 3 weeks. Get to the end of the presentation, and he's like, this is what could happen. He goes, "Now, who in here was ready to puke? Because if you were ready to puke, you're fucking wrong." People hated him for that.
That is such a good
But
leadership
I sat there, and I was like, whoa. And that's something that I will remember for the rest of my life. Number one, because I was 20 years old, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm about to go get Kim Jong-un, you know, in Korea here. Like, I was fucking scared shitless. But it's something I will remember forever, because that taught you preparation. If you are not prepared, you will die.
Have you ever heard the quote, "The separation is in the preparation"?
No. Which, yeah, I love it. I love it. But that's a problem that you run with, you know, in the Guard, is that 90% of the National Guard is not active duty like I was.
How do people gain that mentality without being in the military?
The mentality of preparation?
Yeah.
I think that it needs to be taught by someone who, you're going to teach Aiden, you're going to teach your son preparation, because you were taught preparation. Who taught you preparation? Who taught him preparation? Who taught him preparation? Someone, maybe, you know what I mean? It's got to be taught. Here's an
interesting thing that I think about a lot. It's like, it doesn't even have to be a person that teaches you preparation. It's your failures. Because for me, what has taught me the most in life is when I showed up and I felt like a fucking idiot. Just like in that moment where you're like ready to puke.
Yeah.
And you'll never forget that moment. If you're a winner, you never want to feel that way again.
No.
So that's where it's like, oh shit, I'm never going to be underprepared for this moment ever again, because I don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Sports really taught me that, because the better you get at sports, like the more people that show up to see you play. And I never took it lightly that, like, friends, family, people, you hear my son.
Aiden's going,
he's going
nuts
crazy
right now. Aiden has something in his hand, and he's just violently smashing it on the ground right now.
He's preparing, dude.
Yeah,
It's probably
exactly.
his dumbbell. But I never took it lightly that people would come out and watch me, and I never wanted to look like a fool. So I would train really hard. It wasn't even about like going pro or anything like that. Like, it was just like, I never wanted to feel stupid on game day. And
100%.
that just like parlayed into life.
Jack Driscoll and Noah, we were talking about this yesterday on our run.
Talk about a savage, dude.
Jack,
that dude is
he's nuts.
That is like, he's not human.
He is easily the fittest man in the world.
Yeah. I don't, how has he not been labeled that? Like, watching his stories, I'm just like, we were talking about Cam Hanes earlier. Just like, that dude needs to have Jack Driscoll on his
100%,
podcast.
100%.
What does he like run sub 5 mile and then squat like over 500 pounds in the same day or some shit?
Yeah. Now he's doing this thing where, he's doing a 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a bench press, 300-pound bench press, 400-pound deadlift, 500-pound squat, sub 6-minute mile. Hold on.
Within the same hour?
No, within the same hour. The sub 6-minute mile starts when you bench.
What do you mean?
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You bench, you deadlift,
Oh, so
you
he
squat.
basically has to shoot for like a sub 5.
Your time starts. So,
Once he hits
so
the
as soon
bench.
as you touch that bench bar, your sub 6-minute mile starts. So you need to have your bench set up, your deadlift set up, your squat set up. You go 1 rep bench, move over, deadlift, squat, run. He's going to do that. I think he's talking about doing it tomorrow at Squatch. So he wants me to pace him for like the first half of the mile. But with that being said, we were all running together and we were talking about, going back to what we were just talking about. We were talking about like when I want to do something, I tell everyone, I want to win the BPN marathon. It holds me accountable. If I'm going to go out and I'm going to put out there to thousands of people on the internet and all of my friends and family, and I'm going to tell them I'm going to win the BPN marathon, that holds me accountable, and it puts me in a situation where I'm like, if I fuck this up, it's going to be pretty freaking embarrassing. What did I do? I went out and I won the BPN marathon. I said, I'm going to finish the Leadville 100. Told everybody. What did I do? I went out and I finished the Leadville 100.
The second time.
The second time. Not the first time.
I'm not like
I won the 50K Ultra last year. And I remember walking into my grandparents' house because it was down in Arkansas. And I walked in and my grandma was like, yeah, are you excited for tomorrow? I said, yeah, I'm going to win it. And she just kind of like looks at me. I'd never ran over 20 miles at that point. She's like, I fucking won that bitch. I set the course record. Like, I tell people that I value and I care about. Like, yeah, I'll tell Instagram, but I tell everyone else the same thing. I am going to do this because it holds me accountable. Puts me in a tight spot. Because what's a big thing to me is like, if you say you're gonna do it, do it. Be who you say you are.
Have you ever watched the show Suits?
No, I know about it. I have not watched it.
In that show, throughout the seasons, they talk about putting a gun to your head. In the beginning of the series, Harvey is the main character, talks about when you have the gun to your head, there's always a second option. Most people always just think like there's one option, like you're going to die, you're going to get shot. And that's what that makes me think of when you're thinking about talking about the goals that you have in such a specific way. Like you're putting the gun to your head where there is no other option but to at least try to get out of this. Because if I don't, I'm going to die. Like mentality. Obviously, running these races is very different than having a gun to your head. I want to specify that in social media world where people will literally call you out for anything. But that mentality of like giving yourself no other option but
it's not very
to
different.
At least put in your mind that you're going to win. And do you do any manifestation of like
100%?
I'm crossing the finish line in the winter?
Yeah, like I will. About a week before the race, I shut everything down. I don't leave the house. I don't unless I'm like I'm going to do my run. But like I don't do anything. No extracurriculars. Like no Walmart trips, no Target trips, no haircuts, no coffee shops, no nothing. And I sit in the plan and I think about it, even to the point to where like I'll get goosebumps. I'll think about it. I'll sleep. I'll dream about it. I'll visualize it. I'll see the finish line. I saw the finish line of the Leadville 100 in my head 1,000 times the week of the race. And honestly, I'd never seen the finish line before because I didn't see it year one. And the BPN marathon, I pictured myself running down that final straightaway. And then I have this iconic shot of me yelling. Have you seen, you've seen that shot of me in like my white tank top, just screaming, like mid-air, no feet on the ground. And I've pictured that shot in my head before the race even happened. And I tell a lot of my athletes too, I'm like, when you wake up in the morning, go look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're the fucking best. I tell myself that every day. I tell my friends that. I tell everyone that. I tell everyone I'm the greatest of all time. I'm built different. Because why not? It's me.
Until you work out with Eric Hinman and then you blow your back out.
Yeah, Eric Hinman blew my back out.
Dude, now that is a viral clip like
clip
there.
it.
Just put Eric behind you, dude.
I'm gonna clip that. Shit. Great.
Quote that bitch.
Yeah, put that on a t-shirt. Yeah, man. I mean, here's the thing. It's my story. You don't get to tell me how to tell it. I tell my fucking story. If I want to say I'm the best, I'm going to say I'm the best. I mean, I think I am the best. And if you have a problem with that, you're the problem, not me. It's my story to tell, not yours.
It also, it brings up the question of what does best look like? And I think even just having this conversation with you is a awesome dichotomy, because when you're talking about winning, right, you're signing up to races to win them versus somebody like me who signs up for an alternative motive. It's not necessarily about winning in the normal context. Like for me, the 50K I just ran, like winning for me was having my friend be able to race this race with me. I've known him for over 20 years and he feels confident and able, like capable to do it with me. It's being able to not only walk the next day, but be able to go on a run and continue.
Yeah, you did. That was so cool to see.
Yeah, continue to move, because like I have a young son and my wife who are depending on me to provide and protect. I can't just go to demolish myself to try and, in normal context, win this race. And that has been a tough thing for someone like me to digest over the years. And the reason I'm communicating this is because there's other people listening to this where you need to learn to turn that Matt Johnson switch on in times in your life. And you need to understand where I'm coming from as well, because there's different seasons to life. Like you're talking to the guy that coming out of high school, like I was voted most competitive. Like everyone knew me as this like cutthroat, I want to win at all costs type of person. And I think there's seasons to that. And I know you would agree with me, because right now you're in a season of life where you can be all in on yourself. And I've already had that in my life. I just want to communicate to other people that like your definition of winning, especially like when you're getting coached, can look a million different ways. Sometimes winning is just like, I just want to work out 365 days this year. And when I say work out, like pick a goal, train for that thing for 365 days and not get injured, and like do it a smart way. Because if your year before was fucking eating Cheetos on the couch,
you're winning.
You're winning if you're working out for 365 days that year. And I think that's what stops a lot of people, and something that we've done a great job of at Squatch. And I've seen you do it through, what was that run that we just did? That you just did?
The Chaos Race?
The Chaos Race.
Gosh, that was a blast. People love that.
So like starting things like that where you're just getting people introduced, and
because the point of that race was not to win. There was no winner at all.
Yeah, you show up, you win.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I wanted to spotlight that for you, because you come off as like it's win at all costs, but when you're working with other people and you're in the community, it's a much different vibe. See, how do you balance that?
Because the win, like the saying of winning, when I say win, it always looks different. Because when I set the goal, of winning that would be sick. I set the goal of winning the BPN Marathon. I won the BPN Marathon. But during that time frame, I also set the goal of going sub 12 and going sub 3 in the same week. Sub 12 Ironman, sub 3 hour marathon. That was the main goal, was to do those two things in the same week. I did that. You know, the winning isn't always winning. Because winning to me, I won the Leadville 100 because I finished. My goal wasn't to win. My goal was to finish. But to me, that's a win. So it's really like, like what you just said, what does winning mean? You going out and running that 50K? Mm-hmm. You going out and running that 50K, like winning for you was was like you had told me weeks before, you're gonna get your buddy across the finish line. You won, right? You did, because you did it.
And he did fucking 20 push-ups with me after we crossed that finish line, and I have a video of it.
Did he scream like, "Who's gonna carry the boats"?
We should have screamed.
Who's gonna carry? Have you seen the video of Goggins doing that?
No.
Yeah, he finished the Moab 240 and he immediately broke down into push-ups, screaming like they don't
That's
know me,
sick.
son. Like 240 miles, you're nuts. Yeah, but winning looks different. Winning looks different for everybody.
All right, we got about like 5 more minutes here, and then Matt and I got to go win the day in other ways. What does winning look like in 2024?
Staying healthy.
That's 100%. A big one. Same for me.
100%. And, going into January, I don't really have a lot going on. February, I'm going to run the Austin half just for fun. March, I have a 50 miler in Antelope Canyon out in Arizona. Nothing in April, nothing in May. Oh, man, that's wrong. That's not true. This year I'm doing Leadman. You know what Leadman is?
I do, but the people don't, so
do.
Let them know.
People don't. So Leadman it involves the Leadville 100. It is the Leadville Marathon in May, the 50-mile run in June. Nothing in July.
What's in June?
The 50-mile, the Gold Rush 50-miler.
And that's the same course as Leadville?
I think so. I might need to do some more research. But
because maybe I'll do the marathon. Maybe I'll do that marathon. Or is that marathon like? Does it have trail involved, or is it only?
It's a trail marathon. It's in Leadville. It's a trail marathon. It was a blizzard last year during it.
In May. Maybe I'll do that one. Mm-hmm. Maybe that'll be on.
So
the list.
Leadville Marathon. I'm not going to give you the times. Leadville Marathon, Leadville 50 or 50-mile bike, but I'm going to do the 50-mile run. Leadville 100-mile mountain bike. Leadville 10K. Leadville 100. From May to August. So that's going to be my May to August. September, I'm going to completely take September fully off to heal up. And October 1st, we're going to run across the state of Texas.
I love that.
El Paso.
Let's go back, though, before you said, I listened to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about, so Charlie Munger, unfortunately, just passed away, lived a great life, was 99 years old. But I was listening to My First Million, and Sam Parr and Sean were talking about kind of like quotes from Munger and principles he lived by. And one of the things that he does is he uses this inversion principle. So you're talking about staying healthy in 2024. Now, how do we invert that and say, what did you do this year and what would you do in 2024 to be unhealthy? And then you just don't do those things. So that people out there, like, what did you do this year that maybe led to being unhealthy, or what could you continue to do in 2024 that would make you unhealthy?
This year, I think where my stress fractures came from was under eating. I think I was really under eating during my training. I don't want to say I was overtraining, because I was running 100 to 120 miles a week, which in the ultra
you're just
world,
doing the job.
Yeah, in the ultra world, that's not astronomical. So I'm sure to the normal person that's crazy, but it's truly not. But there's been a lot of studies done around carbohydrates and ultra running leading to bone health. And I think that I was really under eating, because you remember I dropped down to 127.
Yeah.
And I think you and I talked about like what's my standalone weight, which is like a 145. So I was 20 pounds lighter. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't supplementing right. So this year, it's going to be, eating right, supplementing right, building the mileage correctly. And,
that's the real work.
Doing a lot of, that 100%.
Is the real work.
And
that's what I've found. Is the miles become easy. The workouts become easy. The real work is like you're tired, and then you got to make that 1,000-calorie smoothie when you don't fucking want to.
100%.
And then you don't even want to eat it.
100%. And the goal this year is to stay healthy. But the goal is to get across the state of Texas. The goal is to run from El Paso to Galveston. Like that is my 2024. Fast forward the entire year, put me in El Paso. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's go.
Everything else is a lead up to that.
100%. Everything else is a training session, including Leadville.
Including the 5 miles we're about to go rip. What do you have for the people to end on? What anybody out there that is working towards a goal in 2024 and needs a little pep in their step, what do we got for them?
It's as simple as this. Just do it. 100%. Go out, do it, document it, video it. You don't even have to show people, but your future self will thank you. So if you have a goal, video it, talk about it, write it down, take pictures of it. There's so many goals I used to set when I first started that I wish I would have documented. Like my first half, my first 5K, my first marathon, like that. I don't have anything of it. And it would be really cool to look back on right now and be able to see that.
The cool thing is my phone is over there, but I vlogged my 50K with my buddy Jeff, and he texted me today, and we're almost 2 weeks out from it, and he texted me something along the lines of, it's really cool to have these posts, because he doesn't really post on Instagram. He's not a social media person, but I collabed with him, made it easy with him, and he's like, it's really cool that like every time I log in, like I'm still kind of like reliving these moments.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, there's two things. Like, one, that's exactly why I do a lot of the content that I do. From the outside person, it might seem like I'm trying to get something out of somebody or something, but the reality is I have so many memories that I look back on and pull from at any given moment. And I told him, this was my response. Like, that is $$ net worth. That is my net worth, is like the memories that I have. And the second thing was, what's next? That's what I asked him. I was like, because you can't just keep looking back at these videos and photos you have. Like, we got to pick something else for you so you have that same feeling. So my advice for people going into 2024 is pick something that scares you. And again, going back to the winning, like this could be a 5K. Could be like you're 30 pounds overweight and you haven't ran ever. Pick the 5K that scares you. Or it could be like me, where it's just like, okay, the next thing that scares me a little bit is I'm pushing somebody through the Austin Marathon. And that's scary to me, because that's like, again, going to what Matt said earlier of like calling your shot. It's like, it's one thing to run by yourself or like with no weight vest on, but then somebody else's dream is dependent on me. Like, I can't fuck up. So I need to be ready for that. Yeah. And there's a lot of hills.
That's the first thing that popped in my mind. You're like someone else's dream, and I'm like hills.
Yeah. So, but what keeps me going through the hills is that person's dream, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like the second part of that is like, do something that scares you, but like the second thing is like provide that purpose in that dream. Like whether it's your dream or somebody else's dream you're fighting for, attach it to that, and you'd be hella amazed at what you can accomplish. But appreciate you jumping back on here today. I look forward to kind of doing this every 6 months to a year. And
when was the last one? It was right. It was the week. It
was after
literally
Leadville.
the week after Leadville.
Yeah.
So August. This is like August 22nd.
Yeah.
So we have to do this once a quarter.
Okay, I'm down for it. One of the things that, I mean, talking about shooting your shot and holding yourself accountable is like having a little bit more fun with the show. And I think I've held myself back a little bit by thinking it has to look a certain way or bring a new guest on or yada yada. But at the end of the day, I love having conversations with people, and the people that also love to have conversations and try creative ideas, I need to bring on more. And that's something in 2024 I'm going to be looking into. So I appreciate you coming back here. Looking forward to getting our workout in. If you listen to this episode and you think it could be valuable to somebody else out there, please share it. That's the best thing that you can do for us. Give us that 5-star rating and review. Until next time, this is CJ Finley with the Thrive on Life podcast. Thrive on, y'all.